Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. In this opportunity, I would like to present my presentation. It's about identify in foreign policy. Okay, study of Norway's role as peace nation in Israel-Palestine Peace Effort. Before I start the presentation, let me introduce myself. My name is Anisya Putri Andita, majoring in Public Administration, Class A, 6th semester, as a presenter in this presentation. Okay, there are 4 tables of content that I will discuss. The first of which explain about Norway's contribution to the Oslo Accord. The second is about Norway's contribution to the AHLC. The third is about the process of forming the identity of Norway's role as a peace nation. And the last one about Norway's role as a peace nation in the Israel and Palestine conflict. Before that, I want to explain a little about Norway's foreign policy. Its foreign policy tends to be oriented towards contributing to the world peace effort. That comes the term peace diplomacy, which means peace diplomacy effort pursued by small countries. One of the countries that fall into this category is Norway. Norway's foreign policy that is oriented towards world peace can be proven through Norway's active participation in international conflict resolution efforts, including the Israel and Palestine conflict. Norway's success in supporting the two conflicting countries to agree on the Oslo Accord and its important role in the Ad hoc Liaison Committee or AHLC has put Norway in the spotlight of the various international relation actors. The committee led by Norway has several members, including Palestine, Israel, Canada, Egypt, Japan, Jordan, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Tunisia, IMF, United Nations with the European Union and the United States as sponsor, and the World Bank as the secretariat. Okay, first I will explain to you about Norway's contribution to the Oslo Accord. As actors in international relations, in this case, Norway explained its position as a facilitator rather than a mediator. The head of the Palestine Liberation Organization called on Norway to be involved in an effort to resolve the conflict, and it was well received by Norway. Norway was targeted by Palestine after many considerations, including Norway has a good relation with Israel and Palestine. In addition, Norway is known as a country that implement policies that are closely related to human values, strong humanitarian tradition. In the next stage, Norway sent a message to Israel that negotiations between the two countries in conflict take place in Norway, with the principle of secrecy. In this context, secrecy is used as the main rule, ground rule by Norway in the continuity of negotiation to minimize publication and intervention by any party other than Israel and Palestine. So it is known as Oslo back channel. Norway is trying to bridge political contacts that are expected to be applied to the maximum so that there is no more stalemate in the negotiation. Norway will only try to bring Israel and Palestine together, providing a facility for both sides with an equal composition. In addition, Norway also seeks to foster trust between the two parties, but Israel made revision unilaterally. Norway considers that its role as a facilitator is no longer active. Therefore, Norway is trying to increase its role as a mediator country to mediate debates between the two sides. At its peak on September 13, 1993, the Oslo Accord were attended by Palestine President Mahmoud Abbas and Israel Prime Minister Shimon Peres in Washington, D.C., USA, which contained the emphasis on the principle of mutual recognition. Second, I will explain to you about Norway's contribution to the AHLC. Norway's contribution is realized through the important role as a leader state by initiating the establishment of various institutions aimed at improving the development of Palestine. This committee was formed on October 1st, 1993, a committee which is also commonly known as the International Donor Group, namely the Ad Hoc Liaison Committee, or AHLC, focusing on dealing with the various adverse effects of the conflict that occur in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Norway has established several institutions, namely the Palestine Economic Council for Development and Construction, or PECDAR. And then Norway became the largest contribution to the fund. Next, temporary international presence in Hebron, or TIP-H, in response to the tragedy of the killing Muslims in the Hebron region. In addition, Norway, as a leader in the AHLC, also paid great attention to refugees who are victims of the conflict between the two countries. Norway pledged 5 years of financial aid to Palestine of $151 million. Norway also provided its contribution to the development effort of the Palestinian government through the Road Safety Program, a PRDP planning program that focused on the reconstruction of Palestinian infrastructure with a total of $422 million. Then I will explain the process of forming the identity of Norway's role as a peace nation. In the process, this identity is formed through the cultural selection process, specifically with the social learning mechanism. In this mechanism, role identity is formed through the state learning related to the treatment seen and received from the other actors, significant others. This treatment that becomes a reflection of judgment, reflected appraisals for the state to determine attitudes in responding to actors and phenomena of international relations through foreign policy. The fact that Norway has felt firsthand the suffering, destruction, and various negative impacts of involvement in various conflicts and war, being reflected appraisals for Norway, provide an assessment that war is an action that needs to be prevented. This led to the realize for Norway that peace was the solution. In Norway's perspective, conflict is the biggest obstacle for the country to continue to develop through various reconciliation and conflict resolution efforts. Norway supports and strives for lasting political solutions on a local, regional, and international scale. These efforts are realized in various forms of foreign policy, including the role of facilitator or mediator in various negotiations, forming various organizations or committees focused on conflict resolution efforts, and distributing financial assistance. And finally, I will explain about Norway's role as a peace nation in the Israel-Palestine conflict. The biggest reason for Norway as a peace nation is to be increasingly involved in effort to resolve the conflict by distributing various aid and making the Gaza Strip a legal protection area. This is in accordance with Norway's foreign policy, which focuses on several issues, including the human rights struggle and peace effort. Norway's commitment to resolving the conflict was realized through the provision of a budget of the Palestinian people. Through cooperation with the Palestinian government, Norway allocates the fund in long-term development program in the field of health, education, and effort to establish good governance through civil society, multilateral actors, and government partners. Norway's foreign policy regarding aid to Palestine is also realized through the existence of Norwegian Court Aid, or NCA, to fight for Palestinian rights through the distribution of humanitarian aid. Norway's role in the distribution of significant humanitarian aid over the years in this program demonstrates Norway's seriousness in pursuing a resolution of the Israel and Palestine conflict. So that's all of my presentation. I apologize if there is a mistake. Thank you for the attention and thank you for listening. My everything I share benefit us all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.